Big things are coming for AMC stock, ladies and gentlemen. The bear case on AMC is almost completely gone, especially after this earnings and Q1 2022 earnings. The bear case is totally dissolved. And while AMC is not a fundamental trade, the fundamentals definitely do matter. And for those of you guys that are new to this movement, this is something you definitely have to pay very close attention to. There's one key factor that the bears are holding on to that, like I said, is almost completely dissolved. So this is very exciting. I hope you guys get value out of this video. If you do, hit the like button for me, consider subscribing to the channel, and without any further ado, let's get into it. So for those of you guys that don't know exactly why the fundamentals matter, if AMC was worth theoretically $50 per share, all of a sudden shorts would be forced to cover. So that's the kind of situation we're looking at heading into this new year. Shorts potentially could be forced to cover due to fundamental factors, and that's what I want to talk about here in this video. Now, I do want to play about a 1-minute clip from CNBC talking about AMC, and then there's some context out of that clip that we must talk about that is the main focus point of this video.
We also saw theaters reopen across the country after getting crushed by COVID. But there's a ray of hope for the silver screen. Major blockbusters like Spider-Man give life to the box office. So what can we look forward to in 2022? Here's CNBC's Julia Boorstin.
Warner Brothers' highly anticipated Matrix Resurrections is being simultaneously released today in theaters and on HBO Max.
I remember this.
A sign of just how much the movie industry has changed. Studios have embraced newfound flexibility during the pandemic, which broke them free of the set window between films' theatrical and at-home releases. Now, with the number of big franchise films coming next year, including The Batman, Jurassic World Dominion, Black Panther 2, and Top Gun Maverick, studios are hoping to maximize ticket sales by maintaining exclusive theatrical windows, while embracing digital streaming releases when necessary to drive total revenue. It's still unclear how much moviegoing will come back, although Spider-Man No Way Home's massive opening showed younger generations are eager to see superhero blockbusters in theaters.
Hello, Peter.
That film netting the second largest domestic opening ever. ComScore projects the 2021 North American box office will total $4 billion, up from $2.3 billion in 2020, but down from nearly $11.5 billion in 2019.
A couple very important key points to point out from that clip is the domestic box office numbers. In 2019, they were $11.5 billion. In 2020, $2.5 billion, and in 2021, $4 billion. Why is that significant? Well, we'll get into that in 1 second, but they also said there is a lot of blockbuster movies that are heading into 2022 because throughout 2020 and 2021, the producers of these films were set back due to COVID. So we have an huge roster. If you take a look at the movies that are heading into theaters, you have Avatar 2, which Avatar was the top grossing movie ever, almost $3 billion to date. You're looking at some incredible movies that are coming out in 2022. Spider-Man as well as Matrix are going to show people are heading back into the movie theater. But why is that domestic box office number so important? And why on this next earnings call are all investors going to be paying very close attention to that? Well, AMC is hoping sales at the box office reach $5.2 billion. Here's why that's a big ask. It says AMC Entertainment said it could post free cash flow positive at theater level as soon as the fourth quarter if the domestic box office sales reach at least $5.2 billion. I think the domestic box office numbers next year are going to hit 10 to even $12 billion. So AMC will be free cash flow positive. For those of you guys that don't know exactly what that is, free cash flow positive, it indicates the company is generating more cash than is used to run the business and reinvest to grow the business. It's fully capable of supporting itself, and there is plenty of potential for future growth. That's key because AMC has a lot of debt. Once they can at least support themselves and they're not losing money, their cash reserve, right, their cash war chest is not going down each quarter or each month, that's a huge sign right there. But once they are making profits, they can pay down some of their debt. They can choose to issue dividends. They can do whatever they want. They can expand the business even more. And that's potentially coming here in the next 3 months or so on the next, well, not the next quarter earnings, but Q1 earnings of 2022, if not Q2 earnings by 2022. Analysts are expecting them to not reach free cash flow positive by 2023. If the box office is as good as what I suspect it will be, then you're going to see the shorts forced out of their positions in 2022. I personally think the MOAS is going to happen before that in January, if not early February. But if all goes wrong, you still have this to fall back on. And the fundamental valuation is very important. And that's why it's very important, even with a stock like AMC and a short squeeze trade. It's much different if you're investing in a short squeeze trade that is not doing good. That's a bad business overall. Take a look at all the other meme stocks. Why do you think they're not holding up as well as AMC? It's not just because there's retail investors that are buying the stock. It's because the business is actually improving. Other than that, I do want to go over these new acquisitions that AMC is doing. So if we take a look at this, we could see that AMC Theaters continues its strategic theater acquisitions, announces the acquisition and reopening of former Pacific Northridge Fashion Center 10 in Northridge, California, and former ArcLight Chicago 14. It says, Adam and Chairman, CEO of AMC, commented, these theaters have previously been high-traffic, successful locations in 2 of AMC's top markets, and we are pleased to offer the AMC experience at them a few months from now in 2022. These are prime examples of how AMC is staying on offense, looking for opportunities to strengthen our company through the acquisition of these popular locations. Our most recent acquisitions of AMC The Grove 14 and AMC Americana at Brand 18 are already showing their success as these locations routinely finish in the top 10 theaters in box office performance among more than 150 theaters in the LA market and in the top 30 in the entire United States. So it's good to see these strategic acquisitions on top of everything else they are doing. This is ultimately something else that is helping to strengthen the business and crush the short thesis. AMC strengthening the business on a fundamental level as well will help bring big money into the stock, because we know there's a lot of big money that is shorting the stock. If we can get a lot of big money that is coming in and going long alongside us, that is a huge win. And hedge funds, they're going to look at this like, what is the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? Well, the best case scenario, hundreds if not thousands of dollars per share. Nobody knows how high this thing could go. We know it's going to be a couple $100 at the bare minimum, a couple, $100,000 at the highest point. Nobody knows. Neither do the hedge funds. But what is the worst case scenario? If you're buying AMC at $29 per share, your worst case scenario, what, $20 per share? That's where we had prior support. And right now, nobody likes a company that is not making money, not returning capital to shareholders. So if there was a time AMC was gonna test its fundamental valuation, I think it already happened, and $20 is going to serve as a fundamental base in my personal opinion. So the risk to reward here makes a lot of sense to invest in AMC. Once they can prove that the business can at least support themselves, that is going to be huge. And I think you're going to get a lot of inflows of capital into the stock. So if you guys got value out of this video, hit the like button for me. Consider subscribing to this channel. Let me know your take on this. If you think fundamentals don't matter, give me an example of a short squeeze trade or a stock that went crazy in this day and age, in the last couple of weeks, that is not based off of fundamentals or has shitty fundamentals per se. So that's going to be all. Love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.